The most important battle you'll ever fight is not against someone else. It's against the weak, emotional, scared, and disorganized part of yourself. That lives here. This isn't just a fight. It's a war between who you are, what you are now, and what you will become. The Stoics knew this battle well. Some people called it the art of conquering, or the war against self-deception. In your own mind, every day, a smaller version of you wakes up with the dedicated warrior you want to be, wants comfort, but also wants to be great. One makes excuses, one acts, one is weak, and one is strong. You have to pick one. Wins today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, if they don't kill the weak version of yourself, it will drag you down into failure. It will keep you shackled to your fears, your vices, and your self-imposed limits. This is the mindset of the Stoics. You're not here to let your feelings, temptations, or flaws control you. You are here to rise above them. This journey is not for the faint-hearted. It demands you strip yourself of self-pity, self-deception, and the idea that you have time to waste. This is about making a mind of steel, a soul all unbreakable, and a spirit so controlled that nothing can shake you. The Stoics thought that a strong character is formed through hardship, discipline, and relentless self-examination. If you are ready to step onto this road, if you are ready to quiet the excuses, if you are ready to kill that weak version of yourself, then let's begin. Chapter 1. The death of excuses. The weak version of yourself lives on excuses. I'll start tomorrow. It's too hard. I don't feel like it. These words are poison, and every time you say them, you feed the part of yourself that keeps you stuck. Excuses are a sickness of the mind, a slow rot that eats away at discipline, desire, and growth. The time you consider an excuse, you allow weakness to seep into your character. Excuses are the chains that keep people locked in dullness. They are easy to accept because they offer comfort. But that comfort is a dream, a brief fantasy that only leads to sorrow. The Stoics had no tolerance for excuses. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Understand this, and you will find strength. Strength is not built on comfort. It is built in times of resistance, when the easy way tempts you, yet you reject it. Excuses are nothing more than illusions. They are lies the weak self tells to keep you happy. They are the deceptive whispers that tell you failure is okay. If you allow these whispers to control your actions, you become a prisoner of your own weakness. Every explanation is a step backward, a chain added to the weight of stagnation. The more you delay, the bigger the excuse becomes until it suffocates any desire you once had to kill the weak version of yourself. You must create a relentless intolerance for excuses. This means refusing to deal with laziness, rejecting delay in action before doubt has time to form. Do not argue with the part of yourself that seeks comfort. Crush it with action. The moment an excuse shows, meet it with moving. If you pause to start, that is precisely when you must act. The fastest strength is built in those times when weakness knocks and you slam the door in its face. The only way to destroy this weakness is through quick action. Train yourself to spot the moment. A reason enters your mind and attack it with action. If you say, "I don't feel like working out," drop down and do 10 push-ups. If you say, "I'll start later," force yourself to start immediately. Every second lost in uncertainty strengthens the chains of weakness. Treat excuses as a hostile force and meet them with violent action. Is the cure to excuses. The Stoics were warriors of the thought. They understood that discipline is not a feeling, but a command, an order given to oneself that must be followed, regardless of situations. A true Stoic does not ask himself if he is in the mood to take action. He does what must be done, whether he feels like it or not. To destroy excuses, create a system where action is your default reaction. The time hesitation appears, your body should already be in motion. Do not wait for the right time. There is no perfect moment. The moment is now. The weak self waits, the strong self moves. Wake up at the first alarm. No snoozing train. Your mind to accept your orders instantly, without doubt. The first choice of the day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you snooze, you are training yourself to pause in other parts of life. Each time you ignore the sound and drift back into sleep, you strengthen procrastination and weaken your ability to take prompt action when the alarm rings. Sit up directly. Do not argue. Do not allow your mind to rationalize. Another 5 minutes. Act with urgency. If you win the first fight of the day, you are far more likely to win the rest. Take it further. Develop a morning routine that quickly puts you into action. Get out of bed and make it instantly step onto the floor. With purpose. Engage in an early form of movement, whether it's push-up, stretching, or jumping into a cold shower. The time your body moves, your mind follows. This isn't just about waking up. It's about having a reflexive response to discipline. The way you wake up affects the way you approach the rest of your day. The strong self moves quickly. The weak self hesitates. Choose who you will be the moment the alarm goes off. Do one hard thing every morning that sets the tone for the day. Cold baths, reading or writing theory, or intense movements like push-ups or sit-ups. This single act is more than just a physical or brain challenge. It is a statement of power over your weaker self. It is a test of willpower before the day even starts. Your mind craves comfort in the early hours, and that is exactly why you must attack it with pain when you wake up. Your first move should demand effort, endurance, and determination. Cold showers force you to master your body's emotions, lessons you to overcome resistance with discipline. Reading or writing philosophy sharpens your mind, ensuring that your thoughts are guided by reason and wisdom, rather than feeling hard. Exercise shocks your body into action, sparking energy that carries through the rest of the day. The Stoics understood that victory is won, not in grand fights, but in small, consistent acts. The first fight is won the time you choose to do something tough instead of something easy. Make this choice daily, and soon it will become part of your personality. Commit to this. No matter how tired you are, no matter how much your weaker self pleads for comfort, you will do this one hard thing every morning. The mind must learn that your orders are absolute. And once you set the tone, the rest of the day will follow suit. Write down your most common reasons and find ways to counter them with instant action. Set non-negotiable rules for yourself. Things you do, no matter how you feel, no matter the conditions. These rules are the backbone of your discipline. The constant structure that keeps you grounded in self-mastery. Without them, you become vulnerable to excuses, feelings, and external factors. Make these rules specific and exact. If you decide to work out 5 days a week, then it happens, whether you are tired, busy, or uninspired. If you decide to read philosophy daily, then no distraction or mood swing interferes. Treat your rules as law, as bound as any contract. Your mind will rebel. It will whisper justifications, asking to break your bond just this once. This is the weak self trying to regain power. Do not allow it. When the rule is set, it is followed without exception. Every time you stick to your own rules, you reinforce your control over your thoughts over time. This causes an identity shift. You become the kind of person who does what he says no matter what. And that is the basis of true strength. Adopt the attitude that excuses our lies and respond to them with an unconscious counteraction. Every time an excuse enters your mind, see it as an alarm, signaling that your weak self is trying to take control. The more you indulge in these false tales, the more they become a regular part of your thoughts, reinforcing a cycle of procrastination and inaction. The key is to build an unbreakable habit. Whenever an excuse surfaces, count it immediately with a clear deed. If your mind says, "I'll do it later," tell yourself, "No, I do it now." If your mind says, "I don't have time," eliminate distractions and make time. If you feel tired, push forward anyway. The discipline of quick performance is what separates the weak from the strong. Start small if necessary, but be persistent. Every reason you kill strengthens your discipline, making it easier to control your mind in every part of life over time. This automatic reaction will become second nature, making you into a person who acts not, someone who waits. Chapter 2. Discipline over. Motivation. Motivation is a lie. It is unstable, fleeting, and inconsistent. It is a fair-weather friend that abandons you when you need it the most. It is a dream that fools the weak into thinking they must feel motivated before they act. The weak self waits for motivation. The strong self works on discipline, on routine, on an unshakable foundation of work, regardless of how it feels. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when readiness meets chance." Preparation is a function of discipline. The disciplined man does not wait for external forces to inspire him. He does not rely on a feeling to determine his actions. He does what must be done, whether he is eager or exhausted, excited or bored. He moves forward regardless of his emotional state, because he knows that feelings are fleeting, but progress is built on consistency. When others pause and wait for inspiration, he takes another step forward, another move, another tiny win that accumulates over time. The weak version of yourself will say, "I don't feel like it today." It will look for excuses, for reasons to take the easy road. It will tempt you with false arguments. "You worked hard yesterday. Take it easy today." The strong version of yourself silences that voice with action. It answers, "I don't care how I feel. I do it anyway." The best workers in the world, whether in business, athletics, or theory, do not rely on reason to define their actions. They follow a code, an internal system of non-negotiable habits. If an athlete only trained when he felt like it, he would never reach the top. If a writer only wrote when he felt moved, he would never write a book. If a philosopher only practiced virtue when it was appropriate, he would be no different than the normal man. Discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be trained daily. It needs constant effort, deliberate action, and an unyielding commitment to self-mastery. If you skip a workout today, it becomes easy to skip tomorrow. If you allow yourself to delay today, you support a pattern of avoidance that will only grow stronger. The enemy of progress is inconsistency, and the only way to beat it is to build unshakable habits. You must create routines that make your actions natural. Discipline should not be a choice. It should be the basis of your life. When you make it non-negotiable, when it becomes your character, rather than a choice, that is when you truly take control of your life. The dedicated man does not debate on whether he should train, read, work, or improve. He simply does it because that is who he is. There is no internal argument, no moment of uncertainty, only firm action. A warrior does not wait to feel ready before training for war. He sharpens his skills every day, knowing that when the moment of truth comes, preparation will determine his fate. He does not wake up and ask himself if he feels like training. He gets up and does it, because he knows that readiness is a mirage. The strongest men in history did not become powerful because they waited for inspiration. They became powerful because they behaved, regardless of situations. You must train your mind in the same way every time you act. Without waiting for inspiration, you prove to yourself that you are in control. You repeat an important lesson. Your mind is a loyal servant, not a cruel master. This is how discipline grows. It starts with a single decision. A decision is to take action when you don't feel like it. Over time, these choices become who you are. You change from someone who fights with inconsistency into someone whose very identity is built on unflinching self-discipline. Stop waiting for motivation. It is the crutch of the weak. The weak sit idle hoping inspiration will arrive. Hoping events will match perfectly before they act. The strong take action, and through that action, they build their own drive. They understand that movement breeds energy, that growth fuels desire. Forge yourself through focus, and nothing will stand in your way. The world belongs to those who take relentless action, not those who wait for the right moment. Set a non-negotiable daily schedule that includes reading, exercise, and work towards your goals. Find 3 areas in your life where you lack focus and attack them relentlessly. When your mind says, "I don't feel like it," use that as a cue to do it quickly. Know that doubt is the voice of weakness, a deceptive whisper, trying to keep you stuck every time you pause. Every time you consider the thought of delay, you are giving power to the weaker self. The part of you that craves comfort over progress. Instead of seeing reluctance as a reason to stop, see it as a challenge to beat. The moment you hear that voice saying, "not," now turn it into fuel. If your mind tells you to put something off, double down on it. Instead, if it says, "skip the workout today," quickly get up and start moving. If it says you can read later, pick up the book and use delay as a sign of what needs to be done. Then do it with even more energy than before. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes. You will change your brain to equate resistance with action, hesitation with pressure over time. You will create a reflex. The moment you feel the urge to wait, your instinct will be to act. That is the heart of self-discipline. The ability to move forward no matter what. The mind says. The weak version of you debates, waits and avoids. The strong version of you moves quickly and never negotiates with weakness. Chapter 3. Suffering is your friend. Weak men run from discomfort. They avoid battle, wanting only ease and pleasure. But in doing so, they hurt themselves. Strong men embrace pain, knowing that it is the only way to real growth. The Stoics saw suffering as a necessary teacher, not an enemy, and they freely put themselves through trials to build resilience. They did not seek comfort. They sought courage. Epicurus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are suffering. Is the forge that develops your will. If you never face trouble, you never grow. If you avoid pain, you become fragile, unprepared for life's inevitable trials. The best people are not those who had an easy path, but those who suffered pain and came out sharpened by it. Every hardship is a test and chance to build the strong spirit of a warrior. The weak self wants to avoid pain. It looks for shortcuts, for easier ways for an escape. It convinces you that struggle is needless, that comfort is the ultimate goal. But the strong self sees pain as change. It knows that adversity is a gift, a tool to be used, not afraid. Every moment of struggle is a chance to grow stronger, more disciplined, more unshakable. Each struggle faced head-on is a stepping stone to a bigger self. a challenge to be conquered rather than dodged pain, is inevitable, but suffering is choice. The weak self allows pain to define it to break its spirit, to explain an action. The strong self uses pain as a cutting stone. When the body aches from discipline, it knows growth is happening. When the mind is tried through hardship, it knows knowledge is forming. Every struggle is a mirror, showing who you truly are. The question is, will you face it, or will you run? The great Stoics did not simply suffer pain. They sought it. They understood that to be prepared for the unexpected chaos of life, they had to create a mindset that welcomed difficulty rather than feared it. Marcus Aurelius did not wish for life to be easier. He wanted to be stronger. Seneca practiced voluntary suffering so that he would never be broken by sudden misfortune. This is the attitude you must adopt. Do not see difficulty as an obstacle. See it as an important part of your evolution. True resilience is built in the fire of battle. It is made in the times where you feel like quitting, but you choose to continue. The difference between the weak and the strong is not talent, luck, or ability. It is the ability to suffer. Well, the strong man does not break under hardship. He welcomes it, knowing that every ounce of pain he suffers now prepares him for the greater fights ahead. Weakness is burned away through pain effort, through challenge, through the relentless pursuit of self-mastery. Each problem you beat becomes another layer of defense, another proof of your skill to withstand and conquer. Struggle shows the truth about you. When life applies pressure, do you collapse or do you harden? Do you yield to your circumstances or do you rise above them? The truth is that the world will not go easy on you. Life does not care if you are tired, uninterested, or afraid. It will test you in ways you never expected. And the only way to prepare is to deliberately embrace struggle before it comes. Uninvited, the strong self is not surprised by trouble. It is prepared for it. Your weak self will beg you to flee when things get tough. It will say that it's okay to rest, to take the easy way out. It will try to excuse quitting by telling you that you've already done enough, that it's not worth the pain. You must quiet that voice with action. When you hear yourself making reasons, counter them quickly. When your body tells you it's too hard, prove it wrong. Lean into difficulty, knowing that it is the way to an unbreakable mind. Seek pushback, because it is the only way you will ever become more than what you are now. The man who seeks comfort will never achieve greatness. The man who seeks fight will find power within himself that he never knew existed. Growth happens in the friction between who you are and who you are trying to become. If you avoid friction, you stay the same. If you accept it, you grow into something bigger, sharper, and more resilient. Greatness does not come from escaping pain. It comes from pushing through it and appearing on the other side, battle-tested and unshaken. Stand tall in the face of difficulty. Let hardship be your teacher. Accept the pain, and you will rise stronger than ever. Before the fire that burns away, the weak parts of you will show the unbreakable core. Beneath, stop seeing trouble as something to fear and start seeing it as the refining process that will make you into the most strong, vert form of yourself endure, and you will become unstoppable. Chapter 4: Controlling Your Feelings. Weak men are slaves to their emotions. They let anger, fear, and worry control them, letting their moods to control their behavior. Like a ship tossed by the storm, they live in a state of emotional turmoil, responding hastily, surrendering their power to external circumstances. Instead of controlling their feelings, they become victims of them, prisoners to every passing feeling that pulls them in different ways. Their lack of self-control leaves them weak, unable to trust their own judgment. and forever at the hands of external force. The strong man rules over his feelings with an iron fist. He does not hide or ignore them, but he controls them with reason and discipline. He understands that feelings are natural, but they are not to be blindly obeyed. He understands that unchecked feelings can cloud judgment, leading to harmful choices that spiral into sorrow. A moment of uncontrolled anger can destroy a lifetime of respect. A choice made in fear can keep a man caged for years. A mind consumed by worry will never act decisively. The strong man does not let these feelings steer him off course. He acknowledges them, weighs them, and makes choices based on logic, not impulse. He trains himself to stay calm in the face of chaos, understanding that true power comes from controlling himself first before trying to control anything else in life. The moment you let feelings guide your actions, you have lost control. The weak self responds quickly, saying words it later regrets, making choices that lead to self-destruction, and allowing temporary feelings to forge permanent effects. A weak man lets frustration to become anger, fear to become paralysis, and sadness to become self-pity. But the strong self pauses, thinks, and acts with purpose. He is the master of his mind, not its servant. He stands strong in storms that would break lesser men, unfazed by the changing waves of feeling. He does not fall under pressure, but adapts, changing his course with a clear head and a steady hand. Strength is not the lack of feeling. It is the power to harness emotion without being enslaved by it. It is understanding that feelings are signals, but they are not always orders. The strong man takes a lesson from every feeling, but does not allow it to dictate his behavior. He recognizes that feelings can inform his choices, but they do not rule them. He studies his own mind like a general studies the battlefield, understanding the movements of his instincts, the tendencies of his fears, and the distractions that seek to move him. When anger comes, he asks himself, is this justified? Is this useful? Will this behavior serve my higher cause? If the answer is no, he does not let his feelings take the lead. Instead, he uses them as fuel for discipline. When fear tries to take over, he questions it, demanding proof of its legitimacy. He knows that most fears are illusions, exaggerated threats that shrink when faced. When worry whispers doubt into his mind, he does not surrender to it. He questions it, dissects it, and decides whether it has any real base. If it does, he finds a solution. If it does not, he discards it. A weak man uses his feelings to drive him into chaos, constantly pulled in different ways, never able to focus, never in control of his own fate. But the strong man knows that his mind is the only thing he truly owns, and he will not allow it to be ruled by fleeting emotions. He teaches himself to spot emotional triggers and to act with knowledge, not weakness. He is like a rock, immovable and unshaken by the storms that rage around him. Control your feelings, or they will control you. Master yourself, or the world will master you. Instead, you are either in charge of your mind, or you are its prisoner. Choose strength, choose mastery, and become the unbreakable force you were meant to be. When anger arises, take 3 deep breaths before saying or acting. Train yourself to pause before responding. Make decisions based on logic, not feeling. Chapter 5. Self-respect through self-discipline. The weak self begs for support from others, constantly seeking praise and reassurance. It craves attention, applause, and recognition, mistaking the opinions of others for self-worth. But this is a trap. The more you face external approval, the more you count on forces outside your power. The strong self on the other hand, builds self-respect through discipline, creating a personality that does not flinch in the face of criticism or rejection. A man who respects himself does not seek praise from the world. He builds a fortress of character so strong that no opinion can shake him. His value is not determined by likes, comments, or praise. His sense of self is based in what he does not, in how he is viewed. He knows that approval from others is fleeting and often meaningless. What matters is his integrity, his discipline, and his relentless pursuit of personal excellence. The strong man does not allow outward views to decide his worth. He walks his own way with his purpose set, like an unshakable mountain, untouched by the winds of approval or criticism. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The weak self wastes time on distractions, pleasure, and approval. It scrolls forever through social media, comparing itself to others, feeling inferior and seeking praise from strangers. It indulges in mindless entertainment, boring itself rather than growing. But the strong self sees through this lie. It understands that a man who spends his time seeking approval is a man who is not in control of his own life. Instead of spending hours on distractions, he spends his time in improving his mind, body, and spirit. He sees that every moment spent worrying about how others view him is a moment stolen from his own growth. The strong self does not chase praise. He builds himself into someone worthy of respect through relentless work and unbreakable discipline. The disciplined man does not need praise. He wins respect through his actions. He does not beg for attention. He gets admiration through his commitment and results. The weak self wants to be noticed. The strong self wants to be competent. The weak self seeks approval. The strong self seeks mastery. The weak man is worried with being liked. The strong man is focused on being capable. The weak man changes his behavior to fit in. The strong man stands by his beliefs, no matter the results. A man who respects himself knows that seeking outward praise is a bottomless pit. It will never be enough. There will always be another person to impress another crowd, to satisfy another thought to chase. But the strong man sees that his goal is not to be liked by everyone, but to be true to himself. He does not need permission to live the way he wants. He does not bend his character for the brief approval of others. Instead, he builds himself into a force that commands respect through sheer present skill and unshakable discipline. Build yourself into someone whose self-respect is unshakable, and you will never again feel the need to seek approval from anyone but yourself. When you live by this concept, you free yourself from the chains of external criticism. You become someone who does not need to show his worth. His deeds and presence alone command respect. The strong man's value is self-generated. He does not need proof from the outside world to prove his existence. He walks his way without doubt, knowing that strength, virtue, and discipline are their own rewards. A true man of discipline knows that his worth is measured by his deeds, his ability to follow through on his obligations, and his resilience in the face of hardship. He does not need others to convince him of his value, because he shows it to himself daily through his work, his focus, and his relentless pursuit of excellence. Respect is not given to those who ask for it. It is given to those who embody it. The strong man does not talk of his strength. He shows it. He does not expect respect. He gets it. He does not waste time convincing others of his worth. He builds a life that makes it clear. True self-respect comes from knowing that you hold yourself to a higher standard than anyone else ever could. It comes from setting goals and achieving them, from getting past limitations, from staying true to your ideals when no one is watching. It is forged in the quiet moments of discipline and effort, in the decisions to continue. When giving up would be easier, build yourself into a man whose self-respect is so deeply rooted that the views of others become unimportant. Stand firm in who you are, and you will never have to chase approval again. When you hit this level of self-mastery, people will automatically respect you, not because you seek it, but because you embrace it. Remove distractions that weaken your mind. Social media, meaningless entertainment, junk food. Build a skill that makes you useful. Build daily habits that encourage self-respect. Reading, exercise, focused eating, deep work. Chapter 6. The Art of Endurance. A man who cannot bear suffering will never rise above mediocrity. Weak men quit when things get difficult. They complain, they make excuses. They look for a way out. But the strong man endures. He understands that pain is a necessary partner on the road to greatness. He does not seek an easy way because he knows that every great success is built on struggle, perseverance, and relentless effort. He does not flee from hardship. He meets it head on, knowing that it is through pain that he has polished the Stoics, embraced endurance as a basic trait. Epictetus said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." This does not mean passively accepting suffering, but instead welcoming it as a chance to grow better. The ability to bear trouble without complaint is what separates the weak from the strong. A man who refuses to give in to hardship creates a mind of steel. He does not fold under pressure. He thrives under it. Every barrier becomes a lesson. Every failure, a chance to prove his resilience. Endurance is not just about living. It is about getting stronger through struggle. The man who suffers does not merely hold on. He adapts, learns, and changes. He becomes unshakable in the face of suffering. Relentless. In pursuit of his goals, he sees pain not as suffering, but as a required toll on the road to mastery. While others collapse under the weight of obstacles, he uses them as stepping stones to a bigger self. When the weak man moans, the strong man moves. When the weak man avoids pain, the strong man embraces it. When the weak man seeks comfort, the strong man takes the harder path. Because in choosing suffering, he forged himself into something bigger than he was before he becomes someone who is not easily broken, not easily discouraged, and not easily stopped. The man who builds endurance through discipline, struggle, and patience becomes unstoppable. His body may tire, but his spirit does not waver. His trip may be long, but he never questions his ability to reach the goal he endures. And in enduring, he wins. Seek out challenges daily. Push your physical and mental limits. Train your mind to. Crave difficulty to seek out moments of struggle that force you to evolve. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Learn something new that intimidates you. The weak self avoids pain. The strong self seeks it because it knows that fight is the only way to improve the mind and harden the body. Make it a daily goal to challenge yourself beyond what you think is possible, because in pushing your limits, you expand them. Growth happens in pain, and mastery is formed in resistance. Train yourself to stay calm under pressure. Observe, adapt, and continue in the middle of chaos. Your ability to stay calm decides whether you rise or fall weak. Men panic and react strongly. Strong men keep a calm mind and assess the situation with logic. The more pressure you face, the more chance you have to improve your mental resilience. To train this skill, open yourself to control pain regularly. Put yourself in situations where patience is tried. where your ability to think clearly under stress is tested. When faced with difficulty, remember yourself that composure is a choice. When others lose control, keep yours. Strength is found in stillness, in the ability to control feelings, while others crumble under pressure. Those who master this skill command respect and move with sure, unmoved by the storms around them. Chapter 7. The Power of Silence. Weak men fear being alone. They seek constant distraction, dodging the quiet that caused them to face their flaws. They fill their time with meaningless noise, entertainment, social approval, shallow talks, anything to avoid the discomfort of introspection. They do not understand that by avoiding solitude, they are escaping the very process needed for growth. The strong man embraces solitude. He knows that clarity, knowledge, and self-mastery are developed in times of quiet reflection. He does not run from his own thoughts. He deals with them. He does not fear the stillness. He welcomes it, for he knows that in silence, he can die, analyze his weaknesses, face his fears, and refine his goal. Seneca wrote, "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." The ability to be alone and at peace with your own thoughts is a hallmark of inner strength. It is in silence that a man sharpens his mind, develops his will, and cultivates discipline when distractions are stripped away. He is left with the truth of who he really is. It is a conflict with oneself, a chance to reflect on strengths, flaws, and the path ahead. Without solitude, a man never truly knows himself, and without self-knowledge, he cannot achieve mastery over his own mind. To master solitude is to master the mind. It is in these moments that a man gets perspective, that he sets his goals with precision. Solitude offers clarity that cannot be found in the noise of daily life. It is the proving ground of self-sufficiency, where a guy learns to stand on his own without the need for approval or solace. The ability to accept solitude is the ability to control one's own fate. A man who cannot be alone is a man who has not yet built himself into someone worth being alone with. But the man who can sit in silence, comfortable in his own company, has a solid foundation. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and where he is going. He does not need the noise of others to prove his worth. His strength comes from within, and no opinion, no judgment, no criticism can shake him. He is not dependent on external approval, nor is he moved by the ever-changing views of the world. Instead, he moves with certainty, unfazed by trends, unmoved by distractions. He is a fortress unto himself, stable, resolute, and immovable. He walks his way with purpose, knowing that true power comes not from the crowd, but from his own unwavering control. The man who rules his solitude rules his life. He is in charge of his mind, his feelings, and his goal. He sees solitude not as a void, but as a chance, an opportunity to sharpen his focus, to hone his goal, to shape himself into the best form of what he can be. This is the ultimate strength, to be happy in one's own company, to need nothing from others, but to offer everything to the world from a place of inner wealth. A weak man seeks approval. A strong man builds himself into a force that needs none. Solitude is where a man builds his kingdom. It is where he strategizes, where he prepares himself against weakness, where he becomes the master of his fate. It is in quiet that a man can listen to his inner thoughts, separate his fleeting feelings from his greatest wants, and find clarity in the chaos of life. A guy who cannot be alone is a man who does not know himself, and a man who does not know himself is lost. If you wish to be unbreakable, learn to be alone. If you wish to be strong, learn to seek silence. if you wish to rule your own life. Learn to accept solitude, not as loneliness, but as the ultimate tool for self-creation. Greatness is not created in the noise of the world. It is molded in the quiet determination of a man who dares to stand alone and build himself into something unstoppable. Set aside time each day for quiet thought. Learn to enjoy your own company rather than seeking outward distractions. Relax on your purpose and goals in solitude. Chapter 8. Managing the chaos of the mind. A man who cannot control his mind is at the mercy of every changing mood, thought, and external impact. Weak men allow their thoughts to control them. They dwell on regret, obsess over fears, and lose themselves in worries. Their feelings control their choices, making them erratic, worried, and easily controlled. The strong man, however, takes control of his mind. He trains his thoughts, ensuring that they serve him rather than enslave him. He does not allow fleeting feelings to define his path. Instead, he builds a fortress within one that stays unshaped, and regardless of outward chaos. Mastering your mind means eliminating unnecessary fear, silencing self-doubt, and developing inner stillness. It means understanding that your thoughts are merely tools. They are not your master. Just as a fighter sharpens his sword, the focused man sharpens his mind. He trains himself to think clearly rather than emotionally, to judge events with clarity, and to focus only on what he can control. This mindset allows him to move with confidence, unbothered by the distractions and chaos of the world around him. A man who cannot control his thoughts is a man who will forever be ruled by the world. The ability to filter out noise, ignore criticism, and keep attention is what separates the weak from the strong. A weak man's mind is a war of worry, regret, and overanalysis. He is stuck in the past, replaying mistakes, focusing on failures. He fears the future, creating imaginary events that paralyze him. His feelings control his choices, making him erratic and easily influenced. But the strong man refuses to allow his thoughts to consume him. He sees them for what they are, passing waves on the top of a deeper, stronger water. He acknowledges as them, but he does not allow them to move his course. Instead, he takes ownership of his thoughts, leading them with purpose. He decides which thoughts serve him and which must be removed. He cultivates a mind that is clear, controlled, and unshaken. A disciplined mind is a powerful mind, and a strong mind is an indestructible force. The weak man allows his mind to wander aimlessly, drifting between urges and worries. He is easily distracted, constantly responding, instead of acting with purpose. But the strong man uses his mind with purpose, using it as a tool to build, create, and dominate. He focuses his thoughts like a rocket, directing them toward his goals. He is aware that every great success begins in the mind before it is achieved in the physical world. It must first be achieved mentally. Mental discipline is not optional. It is necessary for anyone who seeks to rise above the average. Without it, you are a slave to your world, a puppet controlled by external forces, impulses, and distractions with it. You are in full command of your future, no longer responding to life, but changing it according to your will. The mind is either your biggest ally or your greatest enemy. If left unchecked, it will harm you at every turn, filling your thoughts with doubt, fear, and excuses. But if trained, honed, and directed, it becomes your most powerful weapon, capable of cutting through any hurdle in your way. Mastering the mind means knowing that thoughts alone do not define you. Your deeds do weak. Guys allow themselves to be led by their feelings, constantly seeking comfort and aid, avoiding pain. The strong man, however, embraces struggle as the price of greatness. He knows that the mind, like a muscle, must be worked daily. He eliminates distractions, directs his energy, and refuses to allow bad thinking to control his actions. He knows that every moment of discipline improves his grip over his own fate. The way to greatness is not just about physical power or outward success. It is about mastering the internal battlefield. The biggest wars are not fought outside, but within every day. You must face the urge to quit the desire for easy pleasure, the whispers of self-doubt, and every day you must choose discipline over excess control, over chaos and action, over hesitation. The man who wins this internal war will win in every area of life, for he is no longer a slave to his mind. He is its master. Strengthen your mind, and no force will be able to shake you. Exercise mindfulness. Notice your thoughts without becoming consumed by them. Replace negative thoughts with positive statements of focus and strength. Chapter N. The Warrior's Attitude. A man must accept the mentality of a warrior if he wants to beat his weaknesses. Life is a battlefield, and only those who are mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared will thrive. Weak men shrink from conflict, from hardship, from struggle. They submit to fear, allowing hurdles to define their limits. The strong man, however, embraces the fight. He sees every problem as a test, a chance to prove his resilience and courage. He does not wish for an easy way. He seeks one that forges him into something better. The Stoics admired the fighter spirit, one that is unshakable, unshaken by fear, and always prepared to face difficulties. Head-on a warrior does not complain about his situation. He changes, he overcomes, he moves forward. He sees pain as training and obstacles as his sharpening stone. He understands that comfort is the enemy of growth, and so he carefully puts himself in situations that test his endurance when others retreat. He stands firm when others pause. He acts. He is not reckless, but he is relentless. He does not seek an easy path because he knows an easy path leads to weakness. Instead, he forges himself in discomfort, choosing battle as the crucible that tempers his spirit to think like a warrior is to remove the choice of retreat. The weak man sees loss as an endpoint, a reason to quit. He lets failures to break his confidence, telling himself that he was never meant to succeed. The warrior, however, sees loss as feedback, a lesson that sharpens his skills. Every stumble is an opportunity to improve his approach. Every loss is a lesson in resilience. He knows that the true battle is not fought externally, but within the fight is with his own doubt, his own hesitation, and his own desire for comfort. He does not fear the fight because he has already won the war in his mind. His will is stronger than any barrier, his discipline unshakable, his drive absolute. He knows that battle is the price of greatness, and he happily pays that price every single day. The warrior knows that victory is not given. It is won through sweat effort and an unrelenting attitude. He does not wait for ideal conditions. He makes things ideal through his own work. He does not dream of success. He forces it into life through daily fight with his weaker self. He does not simply wish to be strong. He works relentlessly until strength is his natural state. He does not pray for better circumstances. He prays for greater courage to withstand the storm. He does not seek shortcuts, nor does he wait for luck to favor him. He relies only on his discipline, his endurance, and his unwillingness to yield. The warrior's mindset is not just about winning. It is about becoming someone who cannot be defeated. He knows that true victory is not found in a single fight, but in the pledge to rise every time he falls. He knows that strength is not an inherited feature, but a developed discipline. Every task Every misstep and every failure is another stepping stone to the warrior's final goal: total mastery over himself and his situation. A warrior does not flinch in the face of hardship. He accepts it as a required test when others retreat. He advances when others make excuses. He takes action. He thrives under pressure because he has trained himself to accept struggle. He does not seek comfort. He seeks change. He knows that every hardship he endures improves his ability to continue. Pain becomes his teacher, discomfort, his ally, and discipline his shield. It is about being the one who keeps fighting when others have given up, the one who stands tall when the weight of life tries to crush him. He refuses to kneel before hardship. The warrior's best weapon is not his strength, his skill, or his plan. It is his refusal to be broken. It is his power to bear what others cannot. It is his firm faith that no matter what comes his way, he will endure, adapt, and overcome. He does not merely survive. He conquers. The warrior does not ask for an easy road. He expects the strength to walk the hardest road and emerge. Victorious, train your body as well as your mind. Physical strength strengthens mental strength. See obstacles as training rather than failures. Nurture a mindset that grows under pressure and accepts trouble. Chapter 10. The Legacy of Strength. A man's legacy is not made in times of ease, but in the trials he overcomes. Weak men leave nothing behind but sadness, wasted promise, and excuses. They live idly, hoping that time itself will grant them importance, failing to understand that only action, discipline, and relentless effort make a lasting effect. The strong man builds a legacy of discipline, fortitude, and unshakable character. He does not just live for himself. He lives in a way that moves others, that sets an example of strength for those who follow. He knows that legacy is not built in comfort, but in sacrifice, in the willingness to push forward when others quit, in the unwillingness to compromise his ideals. No matter how tough the road becomes, Seneca said, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Many waste their years in distraction, indulgence, and hesitation, never fully grasping the power they hold over their destiny. They allow time to slip through their fingers, confusing comfort for fulfillment, idleness for peace. They live with a false sense of security, believing that tomorrow will always be open to them. But time is the one thing that cannot be recovered once lost. The weak squander it while the strong control it. But the man who dedicates himself to a life of discipline, knowledge, and virtue will leave an impact that stays beyond his lifetime. He is not consumed by trivial pursuits or fleeting pleasures. He does not waste his energy following shallow recognition or acceptance. From the crowd, he does not seek approval. He seeks mastery. He does not chase pleasure. He chases excellence. His desire is not fueled by the views of others, but by his own personal fire. A relentless desire to push himself beyond what is expected. He does not live to please the world. He lives to achieve his potential. His focus is not on temporary satisfaction, but on the indestructible able legacy of his actions. He understands that legacy is not about wealth, fame, or status. It is about character focus and the long effect of one's efforts. He knows that everything he does, every practice he follows, every difficulty he endures, carves his name into the fabric of time. He ensures that when he is gone, his presence will still be felt through the lives he touched, the lessons he taught, and the model he set. His impact goes beyond his years, shaping those who come after him. And in the end, he does not fear death, for he knows he has lived with honor. He does not look back with sorrow, but with pride, knowing that he squeezed every ounce of potential from his life. He does not reach the end of his days, thinking, what if he reaches it? Knowing I did his name will not be forgotten, because he lived not as an onlooker, but as a force of nature. A man who has forged himself in discipline, in purpose, does not need to chase eternity. His memory will ensure he never truly dies. He is not just known, he is revered. His presence is proof that greatness is not given, but made brick by brick through a lifetime of relentless effort and unshakable spirit. Try to become someone worth remembering. Lead by example. Be a light of focus and strength for those around you. Never waste a day. Treat every moment as a chance to sharpen yourself. The road of the strong man is not easy. It takes discipline, sacrifice, and relentless work. But the prize is a life of unshakable strength, self-respect, and mastery. You are not here to be ruled by weakness. You are here to control it. You are here to kill the weak version of yourself and forge the best version of who you were meant to be. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Take steps now and become the man you were meant to be.